Joining us now is CJ Pearson, RNC Youth Advisory Council co-chair. CJ, it is great to see you again. Let's talk about the Democrats and the crisis that they're well and truly in. According to data published by the New York Times, between the 2020 and 2024 presidential elections, Democrats lost around 2.1 million voters. Over the same period, the Republican Party gained 2.4 million registered voters. Now, officially, there are still more registered Democrats than Republicans across the country, but that number is incomplete because blue states like California and New York allow voters to register by party, while reliably red states like Texas and Ohio do not. But for the Democrats, the decline is nationwide. We've got experts on MSNBC telling us that people such as AOC and Mamdani will help the party and take the party in the right direction. Good luck to them on that one. But CJ, what's your analysis of this data? Why are millions of people leaving the party?
Because we're so back, Gabriella, is what I'll say. But also, too, because I think people are frankly not buying what the Democrats are selling right now. You know, what we saw in the 2024 election among voters, 18 to 30 was a 20-point swing into the favor of Donald Trump, a Republican, unprecedented in what we've seen historically. And I think as we continue to see young people continue to come over to the Republican Party, come over to conservatism, we'll continue to see this gap between Republican and Democrat voter registration continue to grow. And I got to tell you, it makes a lot of sense. Democrats don't have a vision. They don't have anything that they actually have to sell. And Republicans are not just selling hope, but they're selling results. And the results are a stronger America, a better America for the future, but also the present.
Well, the Democrats are fighting against Donald Trump, even when it makes no sense. Now, Democrat strongholds such as LA and Boston are pushing back against ICE and deportations of illegals. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu has dared Attorney General Pam Bondi to follow through on her letters threatening federal action over sanctuary city policies. But to make a point, this Boston mayor, just about how serious she is, she made sure that this rally in Boston opened with singing.
Everybody, hoo-hoo-ya, hoo-hoo-ya. Evladi.
CJ, I have to laugh. What is it with the Democrats and singing? It's so many protests we see this being used. Is this really helping their cause?
It's not at all. It's actually nauseating here. But what personifies more just how sad the state of the Democrat Party is and that sad performance that we just watched? Here's the deal, and what Democrats don't understand is that the Republican Party was given a mandate by the American people to enforce our immigration laws when President Trump won resoundingly in 2024, not just the Electoral College, but the popular vote as well. And so this entire argument that what he is doing is not supported by the American people, or this is not what we voted for, is absolutely unfounded and completely detached from reality.
And another example of that is the DC crime crackdown, because guess what? It's actually working. Just a week into Trump's federalization of the DC police force, there's been an 8% drop in all crime. That's according to the DC Police Union data, which also shows that violent crime is down by 22%, property crime is down by 6%, carjackings also saw the biggest drop, down by 83%. Robberies, they're down by 46%. Car theft down by 21%, which is so strange, CJ, because I thought the Democrats told us that DC didn't have a crime problem, but even MSNBC is struggling to find residents that's going to suit their narrative because locals are actually feeling a lot safer. Look at this.
I feel safer. I do. It doesn't bother me at all. I just feel more military police presence there are. I just feel like I'm more inclined to be downtown more often than I usually am, especially in the evenings.
And if you take Metro bus, be aware you may see National Guard troops at the bus stops as well.
CJ, isn't it weird? More boots on the ground, it actually improves safety.
Who would have thought? Gabriella, what's interesting about this is that the only people mad about this increased police presence are white liberals who live in communities that were already pretty safe, right? What makes you think is that, the left oftentimes talks about, white privilege. Let's talk about white liberal privilege, the ability to go on the internet and say there's no real crime problem while black people are being killed in Southeast DC by thugs who have no regard for human life. President Trump is stepping in to actually show that black lives do matter when those on the left would rather be politically correct and not acknowledge the glaring problem that exists right here in our nation's capital. And so what I will say is not only do, normal Americans who actually have two eyes and have two ears and are real with themselves will acknowledge that there is a real crime problem here in our nation's capital, but also black Americans are welcoming the fact that President Trump is stepping in to make America safe again.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Elon Musk is reportedly already giving up on his plans to launch his own political party, the America Party, he was going to call it, and instead considering backing Vice President JD Vance if he runs for president in 2028. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. Now, JD Vance was asked about this today on Fox News, and he called the story fake news. He says he hasn't spoken to Elon Musk about it, but he did have some strong words for the tech billionaire.
If he doesn't like things the Republican Party is doing, my advice to Elon would be try to fix the Republican Party. Try to push it in your own way. Disagree with me all you want. Disagree with the President of the United States, but don't pretend that you can make a big difference with a third party. I think Elon would make a much bigger difference if he stayed loyal to President Trump's Republican Party. And if he had disagreements, express those disagreements from the inside as opposed to from the outside.
CJ, I'm all for JD Vance running in 2028, but Elon Musk has a complicated relationship with the Trump White House at the moment. Do you think it's a good move?
No, I think everyone wants to be a part of a winning team, so that headline doesn't actually surprise me. I think if Elon is smart, which he is very, very smart, he would support JD Vance to be our next president, which I think a lot of folks in the Republican Party are inching towards doing. I think JD was absolutely right in his comments. If Elon wants to change the state of this country, if he wants to change the state of the Republican Party, the way to do it is on the inside, not on the outside, pushing some far-fetched agenda that the American people will not rally behind.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. Now, Trump has announced that he's not going to be approving any new wind or solar projects. He posted on Truth Social, any state that has built and relied on windmills and solar power are seeing record-breaking increases in electricity and energy costs. The scam of the century. We will not approve wind or farmer-destroying solar. The days of stupidity are over in the USA. MAGA. Look, I really enjoyed watching Donald Trump absolutely slam Europe for its windmills a few weeks ago while he was over there. But how's this being received over in the US?
Here's the deal. I think that, the president raises some valid points, but I think that if we're going to, go into this new era of innovation, it's going to take an all of the above approach to energy. It's going to take wind, it's going to take solar. And so I think we need to figure out where that happy medium actually lies. And I think that discussion is ongoing. And I think the president is listening to people on both sides of this argument. But I got to tell you, again, when you look at data centers and also the AI race between the United States and China, it's going to take every bit of energy that we can muster. So I think this issue is far from settled here in the States.
Finally, Tulsi Gabbard has announced that the Office of the Director of National Intelligence will dramatically reduce its workforce and cut its budget by more than $700 million a year. Now, Tulsi Gabbard said in a statement that over the last 20 years, the ODNI has become bloated and inefficient, and the intelligence community is rife with abuse of power, unauthorised leaks of classified intelligence, and politicised weaponisation of intelligence. Now, this is very Doge-like of her, CJ.
It's very Doge-like, and I think it will give a lot of comfort to folks who, may have thought that Doge was going away, that it is still alive and very much here to stay. What I will say about this is that for a long time, I think the American people have lost faith in the intelligence community, but every single day, Tulsi Gabbard gives us a reason to believe in it once again. I think this step, this move by her, is just yet another reason to do so. I welcome it, and I think many, many people all across this country are doing the exact same.
CJ Pearson, RNC Youth Advisory Council co-chair, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.